I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:30. First order of business roll call, William Johnston.
Here.
Thomas Graffinino.
Here.
Colligan.
Here.
Lisa Kreckler.
Here.
And Phil DiOrio is here. We also have present Tim Hill, who is at least temporarily representing the ZBA as our attorney. First order of business here. So first, welcome, Tim. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
The first order of business is to review and approve the December 11th, 2024 minutes. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our work session agenda tonight has two applications. The first is 3 Locust Avenue, Cummings. I have recused myself from this application. The applicant is a friend of mine, and so I'm going to step out, and then you can open work session, folks. I'm going to read.
So I think where we left off last time was we wanted to grant the applicant some sort of alternative relief, which was a decrease in the deck space that they were asking for. And since we don't have a plan of that, I had a proposal. We have some options of either we can write it, outline it in the resolution, or we can reopen the hearing in order for the applicant to provide the alternative relief that we would grant. So I'd like to get the opinion of how we want to proceed with this.
Okay. Would it be cleaner to reopen the hearing, do we think? Like
I believe,
more streamlined?
I believe so.
I believe so.
And it also doesn't limit the applicant just on going on what we suggested. He could put forth the drawing to us and then we would approve that or not approve.
Okay, would you like options from the council?
Tim, does that sound like a good plan for the Cummings application?
Yes, I think that's much preferable to, the other alternative that you had mentioned, because you don't want to be in the business really of doing designs, right?
No.
So by reopening, you can indicate, what you'd like to see conceptually, and then the applicant can choose to revise in a way that either, attempts to meet those stated objectives, or, obviously they're entitled to stick to their guns too, and that might then result in a denial or whatever you might think of the final proposal. But it's best to have the actual proposal be articulated and expressed in a design concept by the applicant. So if you could reopen for the purpose of them hearing the feedback that's either already been given or that you would be in a position to give them now, and relay that to them, and they'll have the opportunity to respond to that from a design perspective. I think that's much better route to go than you attempting to, be the one effectively designing a plan for somebody else.
Okay.
And rather than draw this out, I would suggest that they go back to our reasonings at the last meeting and build off of that.
Yeah, we discussed it extensively and kind of verbally outlined where we wanted to put what we wanted the new deck structure to look like. So they might be able to come back with us at the hearing with something based off of that meeting. And then from there, we can discuss it more with the applicant. So and just procedure date wise, because I don't want to mess the dates up. Would this be to reopen for the next hearing January 22nd, or would we have to push it to the hearing in February?
I don't think they'll have time to do it.
Then we will have to renotice this, correct?
Yeah.
If we reopen.
Yeah, so it has to be noticed as a reopening. So you likely, it seems like time-wise, it would have to go to the next one.
To February?
Yeah.
we have a 30 days.
Is it 30 days for a
Notice-
reopening too? Yeah,
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, okay.
so
So
we're looking at
actually-
March 26th.
March.
And just as a point of procedure for, th- technically to do a reopening, there'll need to be a motion to reopen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That needs to be unanimous, and then upon the reopening, you can have that, so in other words, it provides, maybe the extra time is not the worst thing if you're anticipating, inviting a revised plan from the applicant.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tim, can the board take a vote on a reopening today or at the hearing next week?
Yeah, I think you'd want that to be on the agenda for the hearing next week, so that doesn't, the motion itself doesn't need separate notice, but I would do that in the actual meeting rather than at a work session.
What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, because you're conducting actual board business, right? So that you would ordinarily do that at your meeting, and because, you'd be noticing it for the following month anyway, that's how I would do it.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
So that would be for the 26th of March,
Mhm.
but we'd be.
We have to vote on it next week
Next week.
to reopen.
Before that we drafted the motion.
And I won't be here on the 26th.
And we're okay to vote.
I'm just giving you a heads up.
Oh,
February-
I'm on a cruise.
On February 20th.
No, March.
March
March
26th, okay.
okay.
March.
Okay.
I'm away.
Okay, so
But you'll be here to vote on it unanimously for next week, right?
No, reopen, yes.
Reopen it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, definitely, no problem.
So Tim, is there any action that the board needs to take at this work session regarding Cummings?
no, if that's the plan, I think you could have the motion to reopen at the next meeting and then have the reopen hearing at the following, or am I missing something? Is there a reason that wouldn't be in February, that it would go out to March, or?
Yeah, we have a 30-day notice period, which might be different from other municipalities. So, and we have a paper of record comes out only once a week. So it all comes down to the planning, and so we would have to submit a public notice to the paper by Friday morning, which the hearing is not reopened at that point yet, so, or the
All
vote
right,
is.
so I mean, with that constraint, my soft counsel, was to do this at your regular meeting, but if if there's an interest in having it addressed at the February meeting,
We already have
and the
three
difference in doing
applications.
the motion tonight versus on the 22nd gives you the time under the 30 days, then, there's not a
You got to give them
prohibition
time to make
against doing the
drawing.
motion tonight.
Yeah, I think he's still gonna need the time to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he got back to his architect and make plans
Okay.
to resubmit to us. Yeah, I think he needs that extra week or two.
and the February agenda is kind of full already.
Okay.
Okay.
All
So we'll
right.
stick with the original plan of waiting for next week, and then to reopen, and then having the hearing on March 26th.
That's good.
Okay. Thank you, Tim.
All right.
Thank you. Puddle Drive.
Thank you. The next work session we had was 33 Tuttle Drive, Rolfe. This was a house that's getting different renovation. It's mostly staying within the old footprint. There's a small
Wow.
bump out.
And they got 3 roads.
And there's a little bit of, because you're creating space on the second floor, you're increasing the bulk of the nonconformity that already exists, but within the same footprint.
Right.
So they require a couple of area variances, and we expect a permit for the increase in the bulk of the nonconformity. But I was looking at the denial letter. It calls out a dimension that's different than the dimension that the applicants put forth in answering their questions. And so if we take a quick peek at the denial letter, it's it's here. Okay, so we need
Which bullet point you want?
one of these down here. I'm trying to find it again. I was looking at it before it came up. It's the last one on that page, where it says that it requires a variance for 5.1 feet. The
For the area variance?
right, for the area variance. And when I looked at the plan, so I think that that was called, that's the dimension to the deck, as opposed to the dimension to the house, which they call out in, where they answer the question, that's at 17.2. Whereas you see that deck bumps a little closer. And there's one version of the plans that showed the 2 dimensions right next to each other. I was looking online, so I don't know if it's going to be here.
Are you, there's a 17.2 and then a 15.1?
Right.
Is that what we're looking at? Yeah. That's on this one.
Oh, on the survey?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's where that was called out by the building department, but the deck is not going to require a variance because it is inside the line for other accessories. So the dimension that we should use is at 17.2 because that's from the line to the primary structure.
Right.
Which is, and in their answers to the questions that they enclosed with their application packet, here, they call that out as 17.2, where 25 feet is required and requires a 7.8 foot or 31%.
What page you on, Phil?
Well, now I'm looking at their area variance answer sheet.
Oh,
Just what their response was, and I think that that's the accurate
Accurate, okay.
number, yes. So I just wanted to make sure that we had that right for this. Yeah, I'd love to get everybody's input in terms of how you feel about this application.
I think the bulk is minimal, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna put a new septic system in, relocate the well. They're bringing up the code.
Yep.
So I think there's more good out of it than what little bit of variance they need. I think the town's gonna gain more.
Anyone else?
Especially out there on Tuttle Drive, not wetlands, but.
Yeah, they got 3 roads.
Yeah.
Tuttle Drive, South Ramon Road, and Oak Road.
Closer to the water though, on
Yeah.
the drive side.
Yeah.
Right,
No, I mean, it's, I think that anything that prevents whatever, the leaching of sewage into Coppell's Harbor is a
right.
Yeah.
Is a plus.
Especially going bigger, not that much
And anybody feeling about the proposed size of the house, compared to other houses in the neighborhood, or?
I don't have a problem with it.
No, because you got other houses a little bit bigger, but they only have one or two road frontage, they don't have three.
Right.
They got stuck with Oak Road. That's where the problem is.
On the one side of the house, where they have an actual neighbor,
Right.
they have minimized the growth of that.
Right.
Anyone else? No, are we not ready for our worksheets here, you think? Hey, Tim, just so you know, typically our attorney has been writing our resolutions for us with information that we provide to them. And so I hope that you will be up to that task, aided by Christina and whatever. I'm willing to help as well. But just I wanted to put that out there so that you will be anticipating this.
Understood, yes, no, not a problem. I do that same function for another zoning board.
I'll take notes, Tim, and I'll email them to you.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so shall we do the
Area,
we'll do the area variance first, sure.
that's what I got in talk.
Okay. So will there be an undesirable change producing the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties?
I would say no,
Okay, and what's the rationale for the no?
because it's so small a variance, and they've kept it the best they could. And a lot of it's on the second floor, second story, not on the ground,
And not outside of that
right,
footprint.
footprint. They're staying in with the footprint.
Improvements are, I'm gonna save that minimal for a different question. But the improvements are, second floor most
And-
predominantly and minimal.
Yeah, I would say that there is a new, small additional intrusion into the setback.
Mhm.
But I don't see how this would produce any undesirable change. I think it'd be somewhat better.
Okay.
Number two, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance. I think that for the most part, they've tried to stay in the footprint and be thoughtful about this. I don't know how they could expand this house on this lot with those three road frontages in any other way that makes sense.
Without requesting more.
Right,
More than a variance.
right.
Yeah, they've kept
I
it.
think they've
On this-
worked it out the best that could be done, I think.
So whether the requested variance is substantial. So I would say that the one variance request for the 17, I'm just going to pull it up here again, sorry.
Point two.
So that they're only going to be 17.2 feet from the side yard where 25 feet is required. So that's going to require a variance of 7.8 feet or 31% of the setback. I would say that is a substantial.
What's the percentage
variance.
again? 31%?
31%, yes. I would say that is a substantial variance.
Yes.
Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood?
I would say no.
I would say no. I mean, I think environmentally, this will be a winner.
Yes,
Between the new IA system, collecting
the runoff,
roof runoff,
The well.
moving the well in the location.
new dark skies compliant lighting. I think all of those things would be a positive for the environment there. And whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, yes, I mean,
Yeah.
folks want to have a bigger house than they currently have.
Right.
Let's move on to the question sheet for the special permit, the general suitability is the proposed use, the most appropriate use of this land. Say, yes, it's residential property and they're building a updated residence. Will the use be detrimental to surrounding property values?
The use is remaining the
No.
same as a residential, so it will not be detrimental.
I imagine it'll actually be positive. Will the use cause an overcrowding of land or undue concentration of population? No.
No,
Is the site suitable for the location of such a use in the town?
yes,
Is the proposal harmonious with the character of the existing and probable development of uses in the vicinity?
yes,
Yeah, say yes.
Is the proposed use accessible for fire and other emergency apparatus? You have access from Tuttle Drive and Ram Island.
and Oak Road.
No.
Great. Yes,
Is the proposed use unreasonably near a church, school, theater, recreational area, or other place of public assembly? I would say no.
no,
Real question, which is not really.
Pretty far.
Yeah.
Will the proposed use interfere with established uses in the neighborhood?
No.
no,
Are the driveways and sidewalks adequate to ensure the public safety and avoid traffic congestion? I would say yes.
yes.
And there
They got
aren't
plenty-
sidewalks, but there's plenty of road.
Yeah, they got plenty of parking off the road.
Are there adequate facilities for the treatment, removal, or discharge of sewage, refuse, or other effluent from this use? I mean, they're going to have a new IA system.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a positive. Will the proposed use cause odors, dust, light, or noise? And if so, how can the impact be minimized? No.
No,
Will the proposed use impact the aquifer and other important natural resources? And if so, how can they be protected? So I don't see a increase in consumption there, really. I think it's going to be similar use to what's there now, so I can't see that there's any increased burden on the aquifer.
no, they're gonna collect the rain runoff where there's not being collected.
Yep, so there's going to be some more.
Oh, they are
some more recharge.
Yeah, more recharge.
It's a lot big enough for the proposed use, and it's reasonable anticipated operation and expansion. It's, this is one of these things, site development thing, this really doesn't belong out here, but I'm going to say yes. Is there enough off-street parking for employees or visitors, and is parking laid out in a convenient way? Again, there's not going to be employees there, and there'll be visitors, and there is plenty of off-street parking there.
Right,
What buffers and screening are necessary to protect adjacent property and land uses?
got stuff there now, so,
Should we maybe ask that the buffer between them and the neighbor be maintained? Whatever buffer is there now? Or is that just?
I don't know how applicable
Yeah.
that is to this
I
application.
mean, we haven't heard from anybody,
no,
so.
We'll say yes.
I would say,
I think it's
it's not, it's like what buffers and screen, I would say.
none.
Oh,
no,
no.
they got a fence there
Yeah, okay.
between the two.
All right. So I mean, that'll be the stuff, Tim, the basis for our resolution there. Can I have a motion to close this work
No
session?
condition?
I don't think so.
I don't think we need any.
Can I have a motion to close the work session?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then may I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.